Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy hump day, folks. Happy hump day. It's great to see you here today. This is the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This show focuses on actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. And this one's titled, Bitcoin is the easiest and hardest thing that you will ever do. And it is. So let's get right to it here, folks. Said folks twice already. I'm in a little bit better mood than yesterday. Yesterday was tough. Yesterday we had a bit of a battle, an internal battle and an external battle. So we'll see how today goes. We'll see how we keep it together. 2-hour show, and it was full of spice. It was spicy. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, make sure you do. So hopefully we have a better show today. Not better, just more fun. You know, yesterday was pretty serious. I've had a couple of serious days. Had a serious video the other day talking about fiat. It's just, I don't know. It's I made a post on Nostr yesterday. Maybe I'll start with that just to kind of show where my my head was at yesterday. Nostr's been buzzing though. Wow. I've never seen or felt anything like this before in my life. I've never been really early to anything. You know what I mean? I've never been late, but I've never been like at the cutting edge of things before. But there's something really special happening on Nostr right now. And it's hard to explain with words. It's something you just got to experience for yourself, I think. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffed up today. I don't know what the heck's going on here. This has been a summer to forget for me. Holy shit. It never ends. I finally go to bed in good time last night, thinking I would feel nice and healthy, recovered, rested this morning, and then we have a huge thunderstorm here, and it woke me up at about 4:30, I think, and I've been up since then. So can't catch a break around here lately, it seems. But let me share this post that I had because I was in a mood. A couple F-bombs in here. Wow. I was pissed. I wouldn't say pissed, just frustrated, you know? Just frustrated. So this was after the show yesterday. Shared this on Nostr. Today's one of those days where I'm in utter fucking disbelief that people are okay just going on with their lives, knowing damn well how corrupt and broken the system is. They don't trust their own eyes, ears, or feeling in their gut. They choose ignorance rather than courage. The worst kind of human is one who knows what's wrong and isn't doing a fucking thing to improve themselves, their family, or their community. I know we're making progress, but it is painful some days. So this is where I was at yesterday, and honestly, not much has changed. I wish I could sit here and pretend otherwise, but you know, it's good. These are not every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows. The sun can't shine every day, as BTO said famously. The sun can't shine every day. So, you know, you got to get through these ones. You have to. And then you appreciate the good ones a little bit more. So I thank you for being here today. We'll do our best to add some entertainment, a bit of education to your life today. And let's get to her. Start with the chat. How about that? We got Ginger, the first chat of the day today. Morning, Ginger. Good morning, Ginger. Good to see you back, man. Good to see you back. Okay, so I also put the this is episode 370 today. All right, Rumble, we got 30 people over there and 8 likes. We can do a little bit better than that, I think, anyways. I hope. We've never hit 100% in Rumble. Maybe today's the day. That might boost me a little bit. I know it's artificial boost, but that might boost my spirits a little bit today. If we can get 100% likes in the the Rumbles. Rumble's just a slow grind, man. Holy. It's so tough. So tough. You don't get any sort of like discovery. Like the majority of people who find my videos on YouTube are from like the discovery page. YouTube will recommend my videos to them. That does not happen at all on Rumble. And you know what? On that note, I should probably do this. Just give me 1 sec here. I'm going to share this with Nostr. I'm going to try to do a couple things here at once. So just bear with me. Let's maybe bring up the mempool while I blab about this, or while I do a few things here. Okay, so here's the mempool today. Look at that, still pretty dead. Still pretty dead. And so, oh, look at that. Look at that block. It's good timing. 910-888. Too bad we weren't on Jerry's stream today. I would have won that one. That's crazy. We've had 2 instances like that, I'm pretty sure, on Jerry's channel, where it was blocked that ended in 88 or 888. And both of them I won on the wheel. Pretty crazy. Sometimes the universe speaks to you. You just got to listen a little bit. It's what led me here, sitting in the spot today, on this property, in this house. Okay. Oh, look at that. We got a little rant I see on Rumble. God bless. Yeah, I don't know how that changes, but anyways, I'm going to share it on X to my 3 followers over on X. See if anybody shows up. Okay. Try that. Anyways, how are we looking for the difficulty? We're a little bit behind here, 13 blocks behind. And the difficulty adjustment is going to reset in approximately 2 days. Oh, what's going on out there? Something's going on. So if you're going to be sending Bitcoin right now, you'd be sending it for pretty cheap, 0.039 of a sat per VByte. The F is going on? What is that? Lucky acting a fool, I guess. All right, let's take this off. That's enough of that. It's enough mempool. Samantha's here. Good morning, Samantha. Hi, Jor, Arnie, and Lucky Boy. Lucky Boy had to be outside in the storm last night. Poor guy. Poor fella. But he's a tough guy. He's a tough cat. Toughest cat I've ever seen. Killer's here. Good morning, Killer. Ginger's on both. Sats and Sunsets. Shout out to Sats and Sunsets. Wow, look at that. Two $1 super chats or rants over on Rumble. $1 each for the algo. Thank you, my friend. I very much appreciate that. Okay, we got 40 people, 20 likes. Today's the day we're going to do it. I think we can do it. Let's share this with Nostr. Make sure Nostr knows we're here. Put a couple flames there. Maybe catch some attention. All right, we got... This house is out of control today. Josh says, morning from Liberal, Ontario, eh? Algo and like. Thank you, Josh, my man. Joe from California is here. Good morning, Joe. Cheers, Joe. Cheers, brother. We got 2 Steps Aesthetics. Good morning. It's a new face. Nice little logo there. Tell me more. 2 Steps Aesthetics. Buck 52 says, down on the upside. Because why wouldn't he? Scotty says, hello, am I in the right place for a good time? You are. We're going to do our best anyways. And Ginger says, good time with a great ending. Max Minion's here. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Max Minion. Only cat and dog videos here. You know, we might get a glimpse of the cat. The cat's acting a fool right now, so you never know what he's going to do. Don't forget to give a little like. Give the like button a little tap, tap, taparoo. That's right. That's right. Johnny's here. Good morning, Johnny. Max Minion says lost yesterday's one. What happened? Oh, nothing. It was just I just went on like 10 different rants. It was ranty. Good morning, whore. Whoa. Jesus, take it easy. Take it easy. Good morning, Praetorian. Sketchications here from Ireland. Love me some Ireland. Love me some Ireland, folks. Solar Satoshis, good morning. Officially holding $0 and all my bills are withdrawn from my Bitcoin balance. Damn. What are you using, if you don't mind me asking, Solar Satoshis? What exchange? Just in case there's other people out there who are maybe wanting to do the same thing. Maybe wanting to do the same thing, if you don't mind sharing. BitBilly. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, BitBilly. Praetorian says, Jor, I'm now in the belief of 1 million PP for Bitcoin officially. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that yesterday too. Hopefully that made sense, right? That's what we spent the majority of the show yesterday talking about, was the fact that Bitcoin's not really up. If you look at Bitcoin priced in gold, which is the real currency to measure things against, we're at about the same point as we were in 2021. So Bitcoin's not even up. The only thing that's happened from Bitcoin going from 60K to 120K is that they just printed more money. So that was kind of my argument yesterday. It was like, even if nobody ever uses Bitcoin, like, if I shouldn't say that, even if the adoption doesn't grow, the people who are here today, and only the people who are here today, Bitcoin would still hit $1 million. Because they're just going to keep printing money. They have no choice but to keep printing money. That's their only play. That system cannot be fixed. And that's why I really struggle when we're comparing things, when we're pricing things, even in fiat. It's a mindset that you need to get yourself out of it. These two systems that are trying to play nice right now, Bitcoin and fiat, they are not compatible. They're just simply not compatible. And the only reason they're compatible right now is because the majority of people on this planet haven't figured out what Bitcoin is yet. And so the world that we know today, through your eyes, what you see every day walking down the street, looking out your window, driving on the roads, the world is going to look a lot different in a decade from now. A lot different. A lot of the things we have today, we won't have in a decade from now. A lot of the problems we have today, we won't have in probably a decade from now. Once this catches on, and it is slowly catching on, it's moving one way. One way. And people, I've heard so much chat lately about, like, are we in a super cycle? When's the next bear market coming? This is the 4-year cycle spot. We should be crashing in 2026. First of all, that's dead. It is. And again, you can come back and clip some of these that I've been talking about lately, but the 4-year cycle, it was a thing because Bitcoin was so early. You can't expect that for the next 100 years we're going to go through these exact same cycles, because you have to ask yourself what causes the cycle. It's not just like written in the stars that 4 years we're going to reset and have a bear market again. That's just not reality. We're looking at an asset that's going to be here for the next 1,000 years and beyond that. And we're 16 years into it. You cannot take the first 16 years worth of data and think that that's going to play out into the future. So I think that, honestly, since 2009, we've been in a 16-year bull market. If you look at the chart, it's gone one direction. And yes, it's crashed a little bit, but it's gone back up 4 times. It dropped 80% and came back and hit a new all-time high. Something is different about Bitcoin. Something is different about an asset with a fixed supply. Something's different about an asset that no matter how many people want to own it, you cannot create more of it. Something is different about that. So whenever you're looking back and trying to predict what's going to happen next, it's fucking irrelevant information. So again, even if nobody else showed up, even if the people who are here today, they're the only people who ever held and used Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin would still hit $1 million in fiat terms. But thankfully, there's more people joining every single day. More and more people are plugging in and realizing that the fiat system is totally broken, cannot be fixed, and they need an alternative. And that alternative is Bitcoin. A lot of people get to gold and silver first, the precious metals. That's kind of their first flight from safety from fiat. but that eventually leads them to Bitcoin. So that we're going to hit $1 million either way, but we're probably going to hit $100 million just as quick. Max Minion says Normie's going to norm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, I should check on a few things here. Who's this? What the hell? Bad Gal B. Hey, Bad Gal B, is it are you B on Nostr? I thought I saw somebody I think it was somebody commented on the video yesterday. Are you B on Nostr? Just so I know. I like putting faces and stuff to Nostr. I can't find the profile now. Is B, I think, and then a heart? I don't know. BTC Pleb says it's good to be angry. It releases your inner strength. Yeah, I guess if it's controlled in a controlled manner, I guess. Good to let out anger. Suppressing it is a terrible idea and not realistic. You're right. You're right. Timber Crasher. Morning, Timber Crasher. Todd says, apologies, my Rumble is being weird, so I'm over here again. Need to verify or some shiz over there. Shitty. Shitty. I don't know if, let me know if anybody else is having issues with Rumble. It seems like Todd might be the only one. Oh, we got 25 people over in Zapstream today. Look at that. All right, who's there? We got Josh. We got Samantha. We got Josh says Nostr is mint. Not y'all not honor. Sleeping on something epic. Agreed. And again, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. That's pretty much Bitcoin and Nostr. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. And that's why it just blows my mind how many people are so resistant to Bitcoin. It's like you have nothing to lose, my friend. You have nothing to lose. The fiat system is going one direction. Anybody storing their time and energy in fiat, it's going one direction. And we're going to look back 2025. There's going to be a lot of people right now who were tricked by this system right now. They're tricked by the fiat price of Bitcoin. They're thinking that the fiat price of Bitcoin has gone up and up and up to 120. And at any moment now, we might start going back down. We might run up a bit. That's their theory. But then we're going to crash back down. And it might happen. I don't have a crystal ball. But I think that there's going to be a lot of people in 2025 who read this whole thing very, very wrong and pay for it in the future. And that was something we were talking about, actually. I'll bring this up from the Signal chat. And I don't like bringing the Signal chat into the show because it's pretty private. But I got some news coming on the Signal chat too. I got some news coming with that. Because the Signal chat, I think, is going to be kind of our behind the scenes. Like, we're going to be very present, obviously, on YouTube and Rumble, School, Zapstream, Nostr, all this kind of stuff, right? But the Signal chat that we have, the Living the Future chat, is going to be our kind of, what is it called? Like a speakeasy. Speakeasy. That's kind of how I'm going to see the Signal chat in the future. And so we've been very fortunate so far to not have many issues in there. We've had a couple people leave because they got butthurt by something. But for a year and a half, it's been just constant people helping people sharing things, asking questions, collaborating on things. We've had businesses built from this Signal chat. And so that's kind of how I'm going to see it in the future. We're going to have all these different things kind of public facing, but the Signal chat is going to be kind of our underground behind the scenes chat. So I think I'm going to go through this list and I'm going to kick some people out and I'm going to add some more people. So that's what I'm going to do is kind of an incentive for the people who are joining School is I'm going to give some, I don't know how many spaces yet, but that's kind of the future here going forward is we kind of close it off. And I'm sure everybody knew I was going to change my mind again. But I'm going to kick some people out. We're going to let some people in kind of as an incentive for people joining the new School community. But we're still a little ways out from that. We still got a lot of things to do before that's all ready to go. But anyways, somebody was talking about the price crash yesterday in the chat. And I said, yeah, we should hit 70K any minute now. And then somebody asked, curious about the people waiting that out. And I said, well, they're going to panic buy a $200,000 Bitcoin and feel like dipshits for getting half the sats they otherwise would have had. So that's what's going to happen, because again, we're not really in a bull market yet. This thing hasn't started. In terms of real currency, the bull market has not even begun yet. We're at the exact same levels as we were in 2021, Bitcoin priced in gold. So we're going to see it go up. It might chop slowly. It might shoot up, but whatever that is, we're going to get to like 200, maybe 250, whatever it is, whatever illusionary fiat price we have at the time. And people are going to say, holy shit, even if this thing drops to 80% now, which is highly unlikely, it's still going to be above where I was holding out. So they're going to buy. And there's going to be a bunch of people with cash on the sidelines right now waiting for that. And they're going to panic buy at 200K and feel like dipshits because they got half the sats they would have had otherwise. Or they're going to be stubborn and try to wait it out. They're going to watch it go from 150 to 200 to 250 and beyond. And they're going to be stubborn and say, oh, my thesis is still going to play out here. It's still going to crash down to 70K because that's what somebody told me on YouTube. And then they're going to buy in at 1 million. And they're going to feel like even bigger dipshits for getting 1/10 of the sats that they would have otherwise had. That's the disconnect right now. That's where people are. And it's going to be tough to see. It's going to be tough to see. It's going to be sad because so many people, I think it was Maulers who said this yesterday, wrong about the right thing, which means that your direction was correct. Your gut was in the right spot. You did everything you needed to do. You were paying attention to the right things, but you made the wrong bet. And I think he was talking about like treasury strategies treasury companies when he said that. But I think it's the exact same for people who are sitting with cash on the sidelines. You're going to look back and say, 2025, they were printing money like crazy. It was very clear for one thing for sure, that whatever dollars I was holding were going to go down in value. That was the one thing that I knew for sure. And I was holding fiat in 2025 instead of Bitcoin. Everything you could tell is happening here. We're going to go through the biggest jump in Bitcoin price history. And there's a lot of people holding cash right now. And I don't know why I had Todd's comment up there the whole time. That's confusing for people probably. So sorry about that. Josh, look at this. Josh, our guy, zapped 8,888 sats. Said, Lucky, Luxter, meow twice if castle law needs to be the norm here in liberal Canada. Eh? What the hell is castle law? Oh, Josh, you kill me, man. I appreciate you very much. More than you'll ever know. More than you will ever know. Speaking of people I really appreciate, we got 2,500 sats from our guy, Ian, Cleaner Machine. Haven't seen him here, but I'm guessing he's down a little in the chat. And we got 370 sats, I'm guessing from Sats and Sunsets. So thank you. I shouldn't guess, but that's kind of been the trend lately. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. What's next? Timber Crasher says, Bitcoin. I'm going to take a little break on my back here. Let's get serious. Let's get serious. Timber Crasher says, Bitcoin is easy because it makes sense. Bitcoin is hard because not everybody believes in it. Follow your conviction. Amen. We're here for a good time. That's Trooper, you Canadian. Was it? Yeah. You're right. You're right. I always think that the songs that I know are always BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive. But yes, you are right. That is Trooper. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day, but it's shining today. We had a thunderstorm here, and it's trying to come out. It's nice. It feels like I got a nice little breeze going through here today. It's a nice day here today. Samantha says, you always attract 88 and Arnie is always lucky with the wheel. Yeah, Arnie always seems to win that all or nothing, and I'm always gone. So Jerry's been pissed at me lately. But that's a lot. Like I don't know how people do that. I don't. 3 hours every night. It would be impossible for me to sit there and watch that whole stream. Impossible. I do my best, but maybe I should just start not being on the wheel. That would make things easier. Orville, less people mad at me. Orville says, morning, Joe. Bitcoin dipped a little, but we don't follow the masses. The M is silent. Nice. I like that. Stick to the plan. When the price drops, we load up. Amen. And speaking of that, it's kind of cool because I get to see one thing I feel really good about is because of the Bitcoin Well and because of the referral link that I use with Bitcoin Well, I get a very small portion of like purchases on there. Right. So when we're dipping, I can see people are loading up. It's like when we go sideways for a while, nobody buys other than like DCAs and stuff like that. But then when we drop, people are just loading up. And that gives me so much hope, I guess you'd say, and so much conviction in my theory here, in the sense of we're not going down much. We're not going down much at all. Because when the price drops at all, not only are like the biggest pools of capital buying as much as they can, but like the average person who understands Bitcoin is literally taking every dollar they have and dumping it into Bitcoin. And that's a very solid, it's awesome to see. That's my favorite part, other than, you know, a couple sats that I get from Bitcoin Well for that. It's just nice to see that people aren't, when the price drops, people aren't just like running away. They're buying. Like the people that I, you know, have used my link. So I know they probably watch the show. They probably subscribe to the same theory as me. And it's good to see. Great to see. There's Ian. Good morning, Ian. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the zap today. Ian is going to be we're going to give Ian the crown right now from yesterday. Ian was the champ. Nobody snuck in after hours and took Ian's crown. He was the champ. The Zap King, August 19th, 7,500 sats going to our guy, Ian. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. Very, very big supporter of the show here in the community. So thank you, Ian. 7,500 sats. And that was CYM. Ian. Jeez. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Who's going to be the cat today? Who's going to get the crown? That's what everybody's wondering right now. Who's it going to be? Who will it be? So far, we got our guy Joshua with the 8s, the crazy 8s. That's the Zap King so far today, but we got a long ways to go. We got a long ways to go. McWebb says my cat's tougher. I don't know. I'd like to see a fight. Lucky is undefeated. Lucky is a wild man. Wild man. And he's got claws that could cut your eyeballs out. Lox guy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing for cats, and this is something my brother is a cat. He's a big cat guy, my brother. He has 2 cats. So every time he comes to the house, he's not very happy to see Arnie, which is crazy. He's probably the only person on the planet who wouldn't be happy to see Arnie. But he's happy to see the cat, Lucky. And I said, should we be cutting his nails because they're really long? And he's like, whenever he scratches himself, he cuts himself because his nails are so sharp. And I said, should we cut these? And he's like, no, I wouldn't cut them. We stopped cutting our cat's nails, the one that goes outside, because he needs them to fight, to survive. So it's a trade-off, I guess, for Lucky Boy. He either gets to live or he has to deal with some cuts. Just, I guess it's similar to like shaving cuts. No big deal. Anyways, Lox Guy, good to see you. Look at that. Lox Guy with a new profile pic. I haven't seen Lox Guy forever. Good to see you, Lox Guy, my friend. 21 Steps says, hey, Jory, you'd recognize me from Maple Bitcoin School. Michael B. All right. Nice. Michael B. I do recognize that. And you were actually in the happy hour that we did the other day. The happy hours are awesome. That's my favorite part about Maple Bitcoin. The happy hours. Love that. And yeah. I was going to say more, but we'll save it. We'll keep some surprises. Ardman over on Rumble. God bless. Good to see you, Ardman. Solar Satoshi says, I'm in the US, so Strike offers a free feature called Bill Pay, which sets you up with a bank account and a routing number that directly links to the sats I keep on the exchange for bills. Nice. Love that. Bitcoin Well has the same kind of thing here in Canada. I don't know if River has that or not, but that is a pretty cool feature. Can someone who uses River confirm that with me? I'd like to know. Maybe I can ask Perplexity, but it's always nice to check with the people. Hey, look at this. We got 30 people over on the Nostr chat right now. And Samantha Nakamoto sent in a zap and said, glad I was able to get into the signal before it closed. I've always had the worst timing my whole life. Well, no, you're good. You're in there and you'll be in there for life. That's going to be a lifelong community, that signal chat. That's how I see it. Things are going to come and go, but our living in the future chat is going to be there it's going to withstand the test of time. It might outlive Bitcoin. You're going to have you're going to inherit your kids are going to inherit your access to the signal chat when you're gone. But Samantha says, I love the signal group. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going to use as the incentive for joining the 88 Sats school community is I'm going to kick some people out of the signal chat as it is today, and we're going to let some new people in, obviously within reason. I think there's 130 people in there right now. So that's what's going to happen. So if you've been watching the show, part of the community for a while now, and you've been kind of locked out of the signal chat, you're in luck. You're going to have another chance here. Because again, honestly, well, and I'm sure people in the chat here can confirm this. You don't have to listen to me on it, but it is very helpful. It's a very helpful chat. If you have any question about anything, there's going to be somebody in that chat who can help you with it. And that is invaluable, truly. When you're going through your Bitcoin journey and you're trying different things and you're exploring and you're, going through it, it is so helpful to have people like that chat that can help you just at any time, any time of the day. There's people in there, either myself or somebody else with more knowledge in that area is going to be able to help you. It is truly invaluable. So Samantha's been a live testimonial here. She said, I love the signal group. And if anybody else here is from the Living in the Future in the signal chat, just maybe, if you don't mind, give us a little live testimonial here for the show. If you like it. If you don't like it, then keep it to yourself. Donnie says, 1 sat per dollar, all you got to know. That's right. That was the kind of the core underlying theme of why the Living in the Future community was formed, in the sense that we know one day that 1 sat is going to equal $1. So why don't we just start living that right now? Why don't we start having that mindset today instead of waiting for that? And so that has, implications of your security, how you're protecting your Bitcoin. That has implications of buying, different strategies for that, different contests and things we've had for accumulating more sats. It's going to be, it's good. Sats and Sunset says, one day we will buy $5 bills on eBay as collectibles, paying a couple sats for each. Yeah, I don't know if I'd waste a couple sats on that, Sats and Sunsets, but I see your point. I got some old money myself. Not old money in the sense of like My family doesn't have a castle or anything like that. But my dad worked at a bank for 40 years. And so he had first access to like things coming through back when we used to have physical cash. He would see all the coins, all the bills, all that kind of stuff. So he would always, if he saw an old coin, he would just swap it out for like a newer coin. So he's got a pretty nice collection of old coins. So I won't be somebody buying these cheap fucking plastic bills, monopoly money. I won't be wasting any sats for that. But I do see your point. Ian says, people's predictions make me laugh my ass off. They don't know shit. Yeah, you're right. Even me. Max says Bitcoin will crash to 150 after 400K. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of my thesis too, is like even if we do have this big crash that everybody's expecting in the future, nobody knows why it's going to happen. They just say, well, it's happened before, so it's going to happen again. They don't understand how different it is right now compared to a year and a half ago. How different the ecosystem is, how much bigger this is now, how much more certainty there is today. And so that's kind of who I want to be chatting with. And part of the new setup, we're always evolving here with the Daily Bitcoin Journey. Because if I just showed up here and went through the news every day, nobody would show up because there's enough people talking about that stuff. So I'm trying to do things a little bit differently. I'm always trying to shake things up a little bit. But one of the things I'm going to have is I'm going to start talking to people who are here before Wall Street. And we're going to hopefully do a conversation every day. There won't be a whole lot of, you know what? I'm going to save it. But yeah, we got that coming down the pipe. Bad Gal B. All right, that is you. I thought so. But I wasn't sure. McWebb says, I love this bacon, eh? What the heck does that mean, McWebb? I don't have a clue what that means. You might have to elaborate a little bit. Okay, what else we got here? Solar Satoshi says, Bitcoin is my native currency and I withdraw cash if I absolutely need to use it. Like I'm visiting a foreign country. I love that. I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. That's the therapy word, dipshit. Did I say it? I forget what the context was. But yes, I see a chat here looking for the Rumble link, so I will share that right now. All right, well, today I got a couple different things to show and share, but if you got any topics, if you got any questions, treat this like a Q&A today. Ask me anything you want about anything. Throw it in the chat. So there's the Rumble link for you. Christian, good morning. Hey, Matt's here. Good morning, Matt. Good to see you, brother. Praetorian says, will you share the Rumble link so I can contribute a like? Just shared, my friend. We're still not at 100%. We got 38 people, 22 likes. Maybe today isn't the day. I thought that I could I thought I could play sad and people would feel bad for me, but I guess it didn't work. Sats and Sunset says you wouldn't have to guess if I could send notes with Zaps. I know. Well, make sure you're using. I mean, you can, right? Like you can send a note. You can be like Josh, who sent in 8,888 Sats and left a note with that. There's the note. So you just got to use the right wallet, Sats and Sunsets. And Todd, look at that. There's another note on Wallet of Satoshi. That's why I like Wallet of Satoshi. This phone is dirty as shit. Sorry. What was your question about River? 3,737 Sats with a note saying, what was your question about River? I was just asking if they allow for bill pay on there, if you can pay bills through River. So yeah, Sats and Sunsets, just make sure you're using the right wallet. If you send it from Wallet of Satoshi to Wallet of Satoshi, you can send a note with that. Joe Crum says Sats incoming. All right, where'd they go to? Arnie's wallet. Arnie's wallet's been quiet lately, and I don't blame you because he hasn't been showing up for work. So I wouldn't zap him either, honestly. Was it the 490 here, Joe Crumb? We got 490 to our 88 sats wallet. I'm guessing it was. So thank you, my friend. Oh yeah, let's keep her going here. Buck 52 says, if you believe in Bitcoin and still have money in the traditional system, good time to buy strategy. I agree. Strategy, I think, is at the lowest it's going to be for forever, probably. Same with Bitcoin. I don't think we're going much lower in Bitcoin or strategy ever. Not just like this cycle. And I know everything in life has cycles. I know that. But we're in a different, if you play this out 50 years, we might have a better understanding of like the cycles around Bitcoin. But you cannot form your thesis around 15 years of a brand new asset that's so much different than anything we've ever seen before. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So I'm not doubting cycles. I'm not trying to say like I'm smarter than human nature and history, because I'm not. I'm just saying we haven't been around long enough. This asset is so unique and so different than anything we've ever seen before, and therefore you can't carry that thesis you have based on the past into the future. So I completely agree. Kenya American Trucker says, I'm not selling my sats for the next 20 years. So that's the other part too, is like in 20 years from now, there's going to be way more infrastructure built out in terms of lending against your Bitcoin, using Bitcoin as collateral and not having to sell it. And so when that exists, who's going to sell their Bitcoin? And what causes these bear markets? People selling their Bitcoin. Like, think about this stuff logically. I know it's hard. I know logic is hard and very hard to come by these days. But just think about this logically. And that's what I try to do here on the show, is bring some logic to the world. Thank you, Ian. Max says, does the Bitcoin wall require KYC? Of course. What do you think, that they're the mob? But you can actually create yourself you can actually create yourself an account over at Bitcoin Well, a light account it's called, where you don't actually put in your ID, and you can actually buy Bitcoin through their ATMs, non KYC. Oops. I made a video about Bull Bitcoin offering that same kind of thing, except you could actually buy Bitcoin from the post office. That was cool. I bought some Bitcoin from the post office. Quite a bit. I was there a couple times a week. Unless the government's listening, then I'd never actually heard of that. It's news to me. But yeah, you used to be able to buy Bitcoin non-KYC from Bull Bitcoin through the post office up to $1,000 a day. But now you can actually do that with Bitcoin Well. And I don't like talking about it too much on the channel here because, again, last time we were talking about it too much, the government said, hey, gotcha. And I'm not saying it was because of my video, but it didn't help things for sure. So speaking of Bitcoin Well, speaking of non-KYC sats, let's give away some sats. How about that? Get your Lightning wallets out. Right now, you're going to have about 10 seconds. Get your Lightning wallets out, and somebody here is going to win some free sats. Could it be another 210,000 sats like we had before? Could it be 400 sats? Let's dive in and see. So we're ready. All you got to do here is open up your Lightning wallet. You press the send button. Send, not receive. Send. Point it at the screen, and the first person to scan this QR code is going to get these sats courtesy of our friends at the Bitcoin Well. You ready? Set. Go. That was a lot of hype, but it's sats. It's the currency of the future. Okay, there it is. Who's going to scan it? What are they going to win? Who's going to scan it, and what are they going to win? That's our question today. So let's see if it's been scanned. I'm guessing it has. You guys are pretty quick. Scanned. Yep. Taken. 341. Well, that's pretty shitty, I'm not going to lie. Although 341 sats, play that out a couple decades and you're going to be able to buy a nice steak dinner with that. Courtesy of Bitcoin Well. So yes, that's what I would say is if you are in Canada, use Bitcoin Well for two different things. Set up an account, KYC account, put in your ID, all that kind of stuff. And you can buy your DCAs and lump sums through Bitcoin Well. They're the best exchange in Canada by far. If you're looking for some non-KYC sats, you can actually just create a light account where you don't put your ID in, you don't verify yourself. You find a Bitcoin Well ATM, you throw in some cash, you scan your QR code, that Bitcoin gets sent to your wallet, non-KYC. And do not mix that with your KYC sats either, because that defeats the whole purpose of it. So thank you, Bitcoin Well. Very much appreciate that. And on that note, we're going to watch a little ad here, or not an ad, but a video from Bitcoin Well that they shared on Twitter. Probably Nostr as well. Seems to be a trend here. Seems to be a trend of these AI videos telling a story. I like it. Oh, I got to share this instead. There we go. So here we go. We're going to leave the QR code up for, not the QR code, but the link to Bitcoin Well. So if you're in Canada, I mean, if you're in the US too, they're a great exchange. I think that they have one of the lowest rates, and I'm pretty sure you can pay your bills with that in America as well. But there's a lot of good options in America. Bitcoin Well, River is probably my number one choice for Americans buying Bitcoin, and then of course Strike. So let's put this up here. Oh, wrong one. And let's watch this video here. This is Bitcoin Well.
Observe, if you will, the 1950s, an impossible phenomenon in today's standards. A single salary sustaining a large family. The American dream in its glorious form. A home, a family, a car built upon a single wage. A period where diligent work promised genuine, tangible security. But like a relentless tide, subtle forces began their work. The unrestrained reach of government spending and the complex machinations of central banking unleashed an invisible erosion. Inflation. This steady debasement diminished the fruits of labor, year by year, relentlessly. This quiet, persistent debasement culminated in moments of profound upheaval. None more stark than the 2008 financial crisis, a dramatic demonstration of a system stretched to its limits. The American dream was no more. But when a structure falters so profoundly, the process of creative destruction often takes place. From the digital age, a new construct emerged. Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin, an ingenious design offering a mechanism to reclaim financial independence, a structure inherently resistant to the very debasement that destroyed that way of life. And so, we look to the future. By 2050, this innovation is poised to reshape our financial landscape. The aspiration for a secure, prosperous future, once seemingly lost, is remarkably re-emerging. This is the next chapter, a world fundamentally reshaped, built upon sound money, where the American dream lives once more.
What a great video. What a great video. Imagine a society built on sound money. Imagine how different things would be. Imagine if we never had to live through 111 years of slavery from the central bank to Federal Reserve. Just imagine how far ahead we'd be. Imagine how different your life would be today if our money was actually backed by something real. It's hard to imagine because we've never had it. We've never had a taste of it before. But that's where we're heading to. Thank God for Bitcoin. Thank God for Bitcoin. And I like this at the end here. Buy real Bitcoin. I never saw that from Bitcoin Well before, but I like it because this is what we spent about 20 minutes talking about yesterday was when you send money When you send your fiat dollars to Coinbase, you're not buying real Bitcoin. You're buying a number on your screen. It's important to note that. When you send Bitcoin to Coinbase, you're not buying real Bitcoin. You're buying a number on the screen. When you buy Bitcoin at a place like Bitcoin Well or River, you are buying real Bitcoin. And I like the fact that they're highlighting that because Bitcoin Well does not hold any Bitcoin, anybody's Bitcoin. You cannot custody your Bitcoin with Bitcoin Well. You send them dollars, they send you Bitcoin. They don't hold anything. So you're buying real Bitcoin. And that is very refreshing to me in a world of manipulation, in a world of fractional reserve, and in a world of bullshit, really. The reason why the price has been suppressed for so long is because companies, exchanges have the ability to take your money without actually buying real Bitcoin. So it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, it might be a little bit harder for you. It might take 10 minutes out of your day, but buying your Bitcoin from an exchange like Bitcoin Well or River provides proof of reserves for all the Bitcoin, all the deposits that they take in. That's voting. That's voting on the system that you want to see, the direction that you want to see things go into. That's a vote. And it might be easy just to keep buying Bitcoin on Coinbase or wherever you're buying it right now. But you have to understand the implications of that. And you have to understand how important it is to vote with your money. Vote with your attention, vote with your energy. And that's why I suggest people use Bitcoin Well here in Canada and people use Bitcoin River to buy Bitcoin in the US because it ends the games. It ends the bullshit. And the sooner we can end the bullshit, I think the better off we are. So I'm going to put both those links in there in the comments for everybody, both Bitcoin Well and River. And you got to vote. You have a vote. You have a say in the world that we move into here. You can choose fractional reserve. You can choose bullshit, or you can buy real Bitcoin. All right, I think I fell behind a little bit. You know what? We're gonna do one more toss here because we kind of got gypped with that last one. 300 sats. We're gonna need more than that. Bitcoin Well. But yeah, Bitcoin Well does not pay me. I do not get sponsored by Bitcoin Well. They just give some sats for the community here. So here's another toss. First person to scan this QR code is going to get the sats behind the QR code. So are we ready? Are we set? Go. Let's see what we got here. Come on, big money, big money, big money. There it is. Oh, wow. You're fast. Whoever got that is fast. What'd they win? 621. That's better. That's a double. That's a double. So congrats. Thank you once again to Bitcoin Well for supporting the community here. I know you have to listen to a little bit of an ad, you might say. It's not really an ad. It's just more of a testimonial and a reasoning why you should. But yeah, they recognize that. So they give back to the community here and God bless them. All right, let's keep her rolling here. Sats and Sunset says, would be buying if I didn't already have swapped all my cuck bucks for Bitcoin. Me too. That's the sad thing about not holding any dollars is when you're when it crashes, you're like, okay, well, that's shitty. Nothing I can do. Daft 444 says, hello, Jor. Exactly. Waiting for a check on my bank account. Otherwise, I'd be buying right now. Ardman says the cognitive dissonant are skeptical about most things they should not be. Yes, you're right. And they trust a lot of things that they should not trust. River does not have bill pay. Okay, I didn't think so. That's why I wanted to confirm that. Terry says, good morning to you. I would also like to see the Rumble link if you have the time. Rumble isn't showing it to me. Frickin' Rumble. Best here, and they're not doing much back for me. Signal chat is great, says Todd. So much knowledge and helpful info in there. Agreed. Ian says, I had a bit of an argument yesterday with BHF. He's trying to say all miners are nodes, even a small bit. Can you clarify that for me, please? BHF, maybe VHF? Well, you can get miners that also run nodes, that also store that data. You can. My BitAxe is not one of those miners that is running a node. But like in the early days of Bitcoin, that was actually how people ran nodes, is they mined Bitcoin. So I don't know the exact ins and outs of that, but I do know for a fact that you can buy miners that also run nodes. And that's how it used to be done. But now you have little devices like the BitAxe that they don't run nodes. They're just trying to solve blocks. They're just throwing a bunch of guesses out there, but they're not running nodes. So I don't know if that helps at all, Ian. But I mean, you're both kind of right. Miners can have nodes, but not all do have nodes. Jake says, living the future has been great. Have connected with like-minded people from Paraguay, Australia, the US, and Canada. Eh? Always something going on in the future. Oh, VHF. Gotcha. Lucky sounds like he can stand his ground. Yeah, he has. That guy's seen some shit for sure. He's seen some shit. Before we cut his balls off, he was out every night wandering for some love, and usually coming back with a lot of cuts. Max, all mining machiners are nodes, but not all nodes are miners. I don't know about that. I'm gonna double check on that right now because I don't want to be giving out bad info here. When you don't know, you ask. Is my BitAxe capable of running a node? All right. So here we go. Here's our answer from Perplexity. How about this? So the question was, is my BitAxe capable of running a node? And it says, your BitAxe is not a Bitcoin node, but rather a mini open source ASIC Bitcoin miner. To clarify, BitAxe is designed to mine Bitcoin by performing hash calculations, but it does not store or validate the entire blockchain. It does not function as a standalone Bitcoin node. To be your own bank or a self-sovereign miner, you pair the BitAxe with a Bitcoin node, such as an Umbro, Bitcoin Nostr, or a Start9, which runs on another device like a Raspberry Pi or a PC or a Start9. The node which the BitAxe connects to is the system that verifies transactions and maintains the blockchain's data, while the BitAxe simply mines and submits work to that node or a mining pool. Setting your BitAxe up with your own node is common. Guides and user accounts show BitAxe mining to a node running on Umbrel or Start9, but the node software runs separately from the BitAxe hardware. To summarize here, your BitAxe cannot run a full node on its own. It needs to connect to a separate Bitcoin node for full sovereign mining operations. Okay, so let's ask a follow-up to that. Let's say, do some Bitcoin mining hardware also run a node? All right, we're learning here. We're learning here, folks. This is what it's all about. So it says some specialized Bitcoin mining hardware can technically also run a node, but this is rare. The vast majority of Bitcoin mine devices, especially ASICs like the Bitmain, Antminers, Watts miners, BitAxe, are designed solely for hashing the work of mining and do not have the hardware or software to run a full node directly. So what about this? Did mining equipment used to run a node? Used to run nodes? That was a bad question, but I'm typing with one hand here. Okay, so it says, yes, in the early days of Bitcoin, mining equipment routinely ran a full node. When Bitcoin began, mining was done with standard desktop equipment like your CPU, your laptop, which ran the Bitcoin client. This client both mined, performed the hashing work, and functioned as a full node, verifying all blockchain data and participating in the network's consensus. So back then, the same computer mined Bitcoin and validated every block and transaction full node, since the network and blockchain size were small enough for ordinary PCs. So there we go. That's pretty much what we said, but we had to verify it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Back in the day, you could actually just you could mine Bitcoin with your computer. Because if we look at the hash power through the years, this is kind of a crazy thing to look at. But if you go to mempool.space and you click this little axe up here for mining, and then you click the view more here, you can see like for the first pretty much 10 years of Bitcoin, well, yeah, pretty much 10 years, there was hardly anybody mining Bitcoin. And so when we think about the difficulty adjustment here, and the difficulty adjustment gets higher, it gets cranked up as more and more people come onto the network. Back then, because there was hardly anybody mining, it was very easy to mine Bitcoin. There was hardly any competition. So you didn't need a whole lot of computing power to win a block. So you can see here back in, let's go 2013. The hash rate was 20 terahash per second. Back here in 2009, it was 20 megahash per second, and then gigahash, and then terahash, and then petahash, and then exahash. And then now I think recently we hit, what was it? What's the zettahash? So that's what we've been through. This is my favorite chart in Bitcoin, by the way. This is a very solid indication of the strength of the Bitcoin network. This is what really matters. This chart, the fiat price is a complete illusion. I wouldn't say it's irrelevant, but it's an illusion. It's all manipulated. You cannot manipulate this. This is the total amount of energy securing the Bitcoin network. So back in the day, you could mine Bitcoin on your computer because it didn't require a whole bunch of guesses, right? Like that's pretty much what Bitcoin miners are doing. They're just spitting out a whole bunch of guesses here, which is what it said there. Which is what it said there when, what was it? What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, it performs hash calculations. So that's like the technical wording, performing hash calculations. But really, it's just using its computing power to spit out a whole bunch of guesses and hopefully solve the equation. And we've actually seen quite a few solo miners like BitAxes or whatever they're using actually win a block because they were they guessed the right equation. So that's pretty much the whole thing there is like the more powerful your computer is, the more guesses it spits out or hash calculations it performs, and the higher the odds are that you're going to win that block. So back in the day, your computer could spit up enough guesses or hash calculations that it would actually could win a block because there was hardly anybody mining Bitcoin. Does that make sense? It took me a long time to figure out the Bitcoin mining stuff and how cool it is and how important it is. So hopefully that helps. Ian, who else was asking? Max Minion. What's your Wald of Satoshi address? What is it? It's just King Golf at waldofsatoshi.com. I should put that in here maybe. I should try to get 88 sats before somebody else steals it from me. But the unfortunate thing about Wald of Satoshi is you actually have to pay to claim your username. With something like Speed or Coinos, it's free. So there it is, King Golf at waldofsatoshi.com. Shelby says, how do I find the Signal chat? So you have to become a member of Living the Future. And if you are a member of Living the Future, just shoot me a message and I'll get you in there. I definitely want to reward the people who are in Living the Future members first. And then we're going to open it up to first X amount of people in the new school community. All right. Peter Todd is Satoshi. Choked on it there. Peter Todd is not Satoshi. Hey, look at this. Crow for Bitcoin. Oh my God. Finally, Rumble verified me. Nice. Good to see you over in Rumble, my friend. That's awesome. That is awesome. So we got 40 people over in Rumble and 24 likes. We got to hit 100 today. We got to do it. I'm going to keep going until we hit it. This could be a 5-hour stream today. Marco says, I've seen a picture this day where it says we are still early, a timeline under 2050 plus. That hit hard. Yeah, I mean, some argue that Bitcoin doesn't really start until all the block rewards are given out. And that's like in 2136, I believe. 2136. That's when you're going to be late. I watch on an iPhone, so 490 to 88. Gotcha. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that very much. Okay, and it looks like Ian sent in another zap, 2,500 sats. Thank you, Ian. Ian's been generous, man. Ian's been generous for sure. Thank you, Ian. Hopefully that answered your question. Post office was the best, yes. Then they had to go and switch it. Yeah, the government didn't like that very much. Crow for Bitcoin says, my name on YouTube is Terry Crow. I figured that. I'm not the crypto crow. Good. Thanks for clarifying that. BTC Pleb says, Bitcoin hodl. Who's Bitcoin hodl? There's British hodl. There's American hodl. I've never heard of Bitcoin hodl. Says BlackRock won't allow for 80% dips anymore because it would freak out their investors. Yeah, I mean, we're still kind of at the stage where BlackRock does have some sway in the market. And I would agree with that thesis, honestly. 39 says, if you had 1 million net worth today and there's 900 trillion of wealth worldwide, then you have 0.000000011%. Bring that ratio into Bitcoin and you only need 0.0233 Bitcoin or 26. Is that right? Oh yeah. If you had $1 million, I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm actually going to do a little visual for people. I don't know if it's when it's going to be, but I have it in my head. I just got to do it now. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like the inflation rate, people can't comprehend the inflation rate and how detrimental that is to their savings. It's freaky. So yeah, that's a good point there, 39s. I believe that. Not true. If you remove it, it is real Bitcoin. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, you still have to remove it. And a lot of people don't remove it. And they put restrictions on how much you can remove or withdraw at a time. Sats and Sunset says, Fold is another option in the US that has bill pay and a prepaid debit card for SAT back rewards. Nice. Max says, sadly, I can't use Bitcoin well as I'm not from Canada. Yeah, it's only available in Canada and the US. Buck52 says, any chance you saw the British HODL Rolex video yesterday? No, I have not. Correct. Not all nodes are miners. Gray's here. Good morning, Gray. Living on Bitcoin? With who? Nittany? Good morning. New face. Love that. Good morning. Max is repeating what AI explains because that's what VHS said also. Well, AI, the one that I looked at, said differently. Yusuf says, hey, Jor, was wondering your thoughts on the spam filter war between Knots and Core. Just scary to think that bad actors from Core can potentially lead to a future in Bitcoin that it's not intended for being filled with spam on the chain. I swear to God, I get this same question every day. But that's okay. I guess that's why people show up here to get my opinion on things, but I haven't been very vocal in it. I think it's oh, sorry, Paulie, I missed your zap here to Arnie's wallet. I missed it. A row of ducks. 2,222 sats from Paulie D and Daisy. Thank you, Paulie. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, I go back and forth with it personally, and it's not that I'm siding with either one. I just want to hear both sides. And I want to really understand why both sides are being so stubborn and so weird about it. Like, it just doesn't really make sense in my head that they're fighting about this. If the answer is really that crystal clear, it shouldn't really be so much back and forth about it. A couple things that I will say on it. I will say that there are some bad actors on the core side, I believe anyways, which pushes me towards the knots side of things. But the part that I don't like about this whole argument here is that people are trying to say what Bitcoin is. That's the part that I disagree with. One person out there is trying to say that this is the way that Bitcoin should be. This is what Bitcoin was designed to be. And it's not. It's not. It doesn't matter what you say Bitcoin should be. That doesn't matter. It's the consensus. So if people decide that they want to run core and allow spam to get onto the blockchain, I mean, it doesn't really solve it either way. Nothing really fixes it either way. That's why I'm kind of just withdrawn from it. I also don't want to be in a position ever where like people look to me for what they should do, because that's not my expertise. And the thing that I don't really like about it is I see Bitcoin differently than everybody else. Everybody sees Bitcoin differently. Everybody's going to use Bitcoin differently than everybody else. So who is one person to say that Bitcoin needs to be this? It was designed to be this. You can't say that. So my point is that I believe that Bitcoin is very powerful for a lot of different reasons. And if you consider history, just hear me out here, because I know there's probably people listening to this right now and saying, Jor's siding with core. Not the case at all. I just said that I lean more towards knots. I think that the incentives for a core pushing this is against, I guess, the Bitcoin ethos. But again, the market decides that. That's the cool thing about Bitcoin, is that we get to vote. So I'm not going to try to sway people either way. But this is why this is kind of my pushback to it, is that if you consider history here and you consider all the things that really happened in the world versus the history that we've been told, they're much different. And the reason for that is because people have been able to destroy books and delete information from the internet and burn libraries down. This has been happening for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. Our history as a species has been totally manipulated because they were able to. But if you consider the fact that Bitcoin might actually be a way to bring history into an immutable ledger, that's a use case for it. So who am I to say that Bitcoin only needs to be used for this and this alone? I think that both sides are kind of taking it too far in either direction. And so I think that, yes, Bitcoin is obviously designed to be money, and that's what it should be mostly. But at the same time, I think that it should also include history. And that's just my opinion on it. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. That's just what I think. I think that if we knew the real history from hundreds of thousands of years ago, our society would be much different. If we knew the truth about a lot of things, and that truth could never be deleted, that's a pretty powerful idea. And you might say, well, Jor, that kind of stuff you can put on Ethereum or Solana or whatever. No, you can't, because it's not immutable on there. So yes, it is the perfect money. It's the perfect store of value. It's the best battery that's ever existed. It is designed to be a monetary network. But if people want to put other things on there, and so you might say, well, people are spamming it. They're putting on JPEGs of donkeys. You can't say what people can and can't do. And I agree that it should be harder to do that. It should cost people more, and it should be more difficult to get that onto the blockchain. But I also think that if we want history to be immutable, Bitcoin's a good place for that. And I haven't really heard anybody else say that, because everybody's too worried about their reputation, that they want to be core or not. Do you want to hear something fucking crazy? Let me tell you this story. I've never told this story on the show here before. Oh, my brother just texted me. What the F is happening with MSTR? Okay, when was that? That was at the Vegas conference. I was on my way to Vegas. I was on my way to Vegas. This is what happened. So I get, and somebody might be watching this right now who actually sent this to me, but I was just like, what is going on? So somebody texted me at 4:45 a.m. This is when I was on my way to Vegas. They said, Jor, how are you? I said, I'm good, thanks. 4:45 a.m. Either you're overseas or had too many beers. And they said, are you running knots? I said, I don't have this number saved in my phone. Who am I speaking to? I won't say their name, but they said, got your number. Are you running knots? I said, I'm not running knots yet, but I do plan on switching to it. I didn't update core. Do you remember when you got my number? Where did you get it? And this is what they said to me. So I was just like, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need to be on either side here. I think that both sides have lost their fucking minds. I don't think that either way it's going to have a huge implication on Bitcoin. And I think that people should be able to think how they want to, and they shouldn't be manipulated and called out. And it's just, I don't like that. I don't like that stuff. And that kind of turned me away from it for a little while. And I was just like, you know what? I don't need this. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I've been asked that question a lot, and I haven't really got that far into it. But it's just like, it's gone too far. It's gone too far. And you know what? It's one of the things that actually concerns me is that people, that even though Bitcoin's there, Bitcoin is like the beacon of truth that the world needs. It's still up to human beings to do the right thing. And I think that there's a lot of dipshits out there who are incapable of doing the right thing, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. It's like, if it was that cut and dry, right or wrong, then it wouldn't be a debate, right? And people are just like so obsessed with their little, it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Not intended for and being filled with spam on the blockchain. Just Jam 99 says, just bought Bitcoin at 112,600. Grateful for the dip. That's the attitude we like. There used to be a wallet node and a miner all in one. Yes. 10 years from now, we'll say the same thing. Was hardly anybody mining. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Jay. 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say, hardly somebody won a block with their $200 bidax back in 2025. We're going to look back on the exact same way. I agree. I agree. Gray says, great content, Jor. Good on you. Thank you, my friend. That chart is moonshot. It is. And again, we're going to look back in 10 years, and that chart that I showed is just going to be a little wee blip on the radar. Old School says, in 2012, I had an AMD 7970 GPU ideal for mining. Instead, I played games on it like a dumbass. Oh, shit. Yeah, Josh says, where's our Letha? That's a good question. With a little sad. Got it. Where is Letha? And Samantha Nakamoto sent in another 1,111 sats. Thank you, Samantha. Is that 3 today? We got 3 zaps from Samantha, I believe, of our live free zap. Samantha zap 1111. So yeah. Max, all good, my friend. We are all learning. Exactly. Nav says, had a thought last night to tell you, but I forgot this morning. Don't like the video, so we get to Jor to stream all day. That's a bad idea. Shelby says, I'm new to the Bitcoin community. Where do I find living the future? Good question, Shelby. Let me point you in the right direction here. So I guess if you do want to guarantee your spot in the Signal chat, this would be the way to do it, because I'm going to let everybody who's a member there over and living in the future right now, they're all going to be merged into the living in the future chat. And then, like I've been saying, we're going to put an incentive for people to join the new one once it's ready to go. Lauren's here. Good morning, Lauren. Yusuf says, love that perspective, Jor. Thank you for your thoughts. Yeah, no problem. Shelby says, people can try to put junk on the blockchain and I can filter them out on my own node. Yeah, I mean, that's the part that I don't like about the core stuff, is that they're forcing people. They're saying, here's the default and you cannot change the settings. That's the part I don't like about it. But again, you have to consider all angles here. It's like this is the question I asked on Jerry's stream last night. I said, why is Adam back on apparently Team Core? Why is Adam back okay with what's happening with Core? I consider Adam back one of the most important Bitcoiners that are alive right now. Why is he supporting Core? I don't know. That's what I want to find out. I don't want to just watch one video and make my decision on which way to go here. And you have to consider a lot of different things. So that's kind of my question was, why is Adam back on Team Core? What's his mentality? What's his reasoning for it? $1.52. I want to hear something crazy. Yeah, I mean that one really threw me for a loop, because they texted me. It's not like they sent me an email and said that. They texted my phone. So it's just like, I don't need to be involved in this. This is too much. This is beyond the scope of what I want to be. Kind of creepy. Yeah, very creepy. I was sitting, I still remember that because I was so creeped out. I was sitting in the airport eating a sub when I got that text. Terry says, 23 hours ago, Crypto OG posted that $3 billion worth of shorts will get liquidated if and when Bitcoin hits 124. Nice. Yeah, just weird. Just weird. Jay says, for every knots sheep, I'll run 10 Bitcoin Core nodes until people actually figure it out. See? So that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just you can't just decide what you want to do because of one video that you watched. And there's people on both sides of the scale with good arguments. I lean more towards with knots and what they're doing and their motives behind doing it. But I still think it's blown way out of proportion and people are just like taking sides. It's almost like Democrats and Republicans in that way. It's like nobody's willing to see both sides of it. They just want to be so extreme, one side or the other. I hate that. What if it leads to a fork? How could it lead to a fork, though? Explain that to me. How could it lead to a fork? I do remember the block wars debate, but it's totally different. Some people do the most. Perhaps the anonymous is a spammer or a supporter of spamming. Yeah. The Mara block that had a video with 3 transactions, the worst of the worst. The block still paid rewards, 3.25 Bitcoin. The spam stole the money. I mean, I agree with you, Gray. I agree with you. I don't think that spam should be on the blockchain, but even running knots, you can still get spam onto the blockchain. I agree that it's easier core route. Here's my thing. It's not about who's right or wrong. I just don't like how either side is approaching it. And so I'm not taking sides. It doesn't make sense for me to take sides. I'll just do whatever I think is best. And that's my vote in the community. I have that right. Yusuf says, British Hodl's video yesterday was kind of crazy. He said that today's investor, if they woke up in our shoes living in our dream, they would, I don't know the other part of that. Logan Jackson says, would you recommend renting instead of buying where you live and putting all the extra money into Bitcoin? Yes. Yes. But it also depends. Like, I don't rent myself, so it's hard for me to say, hey, you should rent, but I'm going to own a house. The reason why I have bought this house and the reason why I still own this house is because this is where I'm going to have this property forever. So I would say that you should rent unless you can comfortably afford your dream property. If your dream property comes up for sale, I would say spend your Bitcoin and buy the house. Because houses and properties and the community, and that decision is a very big one. And the whole goal here is not to have the most Bitcoin, it's to enjoy your life and have the most fun. So if you're living in a place where you don't want to be, then yes, I do recommend renting. It makes way more sense to rent. But if you have the ability to get into your dream house or dream property and you're going to be there for a very long time, then I would say buy a house. I mean, if you can rent that house, even better. But if you don't have that ability, then I think it says, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Gray says, was more Bitcoin than that. I think it was before the last halving. The Mara block. So maybe 6.25 Bitcoin then. I don't know. Zenjamin, good morning. Adam has lost his mind temporarily. See, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. Logan says, I think I'm about to sell the land I own and go rent somewhere instead of trying to build a house on my land. I think I'm about to sell the land I own and go rent somewhere instead of trying to build a house on my land. I mean, so to carry that forward here, I would say it really depends on the land. Like, is that the land that you want to be on forever? In 20 years from now, do you see yourself happy on that piece of land? And if the answer to that is yes, then I would not sell that land. If it's not really where you want to be, or you have some doubts in your mind, then I would say sell the land, buy Bitcoin until you figure it out. Gray says, JL run 10 knots nodes. Terry says, I like knots much better based on what Crater has informed me on his channel. I respect your opinion, however. I think HBAR and ADA can perform the function of a decentralized immutable storage. See, and that's fair. That's fair. That's a great argument. Are HBAR and ADA as immutable as Bitcoin? I don't know. I haven't spent enough time looking into it. But if that's the case, then yeah. I mean, then obviously I do side with knots either way. But I'm just trying to hear both sides of it and really make sense of what's happening here. Trying to, anyways. Bull market is back. No, bull market is not back. Bull market hasn't. I mean, two sides of that is like, one, we've been in a bull market for 16 years, but the other part of that is that we're at the same price in real terms as 2021. Zenjamin says, Zap sent to the GOAT King Golf. Keep up the good and consistent work. Maybe a Zap for Arnie tomorrow if he shows up for work. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Okay, so we got 2 Zaps for 888 sats. I'm thinking one was from Zenjamin and one was on Zapstream maybe. Shani. I was right. Shani boy, my man. Zapped 888 sats. Thank you, Shani. And also we got our DCA for the day from our guy, Duncan. Duncan the man. DCA, August 20th. Wow. I hate seeing those dates. Summer is slipping away fast. 26.39. Price is down today. 26.39 from Duncan. Thank you, Duncan. You are the man. Appreciate that. So that's our DCA dollar coffee average. You can send the show $3 worth of fiat in the form of sats. You don't need Nostr. You just need a lightning wallet to use that. So thank you, Duncan. Terry says, shame on other people who try to bully others into their viewpoint. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I don't like. CB Van says, you can sit on the fence, but it don't work. Fred Mercury. I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm not sitting on the fence. I just don't, I don't really know how to explain it. Sounds like politics. Yeah, exactly. Just kidding. I have no idea. Grace says, fair enough, Joe. That's what makes freedom so great. We can choose what to do. Yeah, it just seems to me like there's too much hostility. That's what I don't like about it. I mean, it's great that we can have open discussion on it. People can share their sides and their reasoning for it. But when you start like getting angry at people, it reminds me of politics, and I hate politics. That's what led me to Bitcoin. And I don't really want to fall back into that trap. Jerome says, hey, Jordan, thanks for the follow on Nostr. No doubt. No sweat. So let's bring that up here for anybody who's recently joined Nostr. I'm going to put up my QR code here for you to follow. Just in case you're not already, Nostr is the most happening place on the planet right now, in my opinion. Being on Nostr right now is being in Bitcoin in 2013. So there it is. There's the public key for my Nostr. You should be able to scan that QR code, and it'll take you to my profile on there. That's where I share all my dark and dirty secrets, other than on the show here. Terry says, I'm still trying to get a node going and connect my BitAxe. Well, that's the thing I'd say to that is like, don't rush, right? People, that's another part of this whole thing. Like the problem with the internet is that there's too much information out there. Internet's crashing here. There's too much information. There's too many people talking about too many things. And you have to do a really good job of deciphering what's worth your attention and what's not. And there's a lot of people getting into Bitcoin now who think that they need to do everything at once. Need to run a node, need to have a miner, need to be on Lightning, you need to be using eCash, need to be trying the latest thing. And it's great. That's kind of where I am right now. But I've gone through the process of making sure that all my foundation's built. That's what everybody should be focused number one on, building your foundation, because it does not matter how many sats you have today, August 20th, 2025, doesn't matter. It does not matter how many sats you have today. The only thing that matters is how many sats your family has in 50 years from now. And if you're too focused on other things, if you're getting pulled in every different direction, like these debates, that's the other part of it too, that I don't like. And I'm sure it's not that I don't like, some of the accounts that are talking about the knots and core stuff. It's just, I think it's distracting to people. Is it important? Of course. But is there more important things for new Bitcoiners? Way more important. People are spending more time trying to figure out what knots is and what core is versus actually learning how to secure their Bitcoin. There's people out there right now watching Matthew Cratter videos on the knots and core debate, and they don't even have their own private keys. They don't know how to store their own private keys. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's important, but there's more important things in my mind anyways. So it is. I'm guessing if you wanted to scan it, you would have already. And there's the Lightning address. I think that's actually King Golf. That's the one connected to my Nostr. So there you go. Wow, Bitcoin is ripping right now. Back to 114. We were at 124,000 a week ago. That's crazy. That's crazy. What the fuck is H-bar? Yeah, I don't know what H-bar is either, honestly. I'm trying to figure out this Bitcoin thing first. Cleaning Machine says, apparently it's Bacon Lovers Day today in Canada. Is that a real thing? H barbarian used to be a thing. Yeah, I don't know what H bar is. Gray says, just be aware your node can be discovered, and if your PC is used for daily or other things, you're wide open to attacks. Just be considerate to your sovereignty. I saw this, Nav. Air Canada Pension Fund reveals 161 million Bitcoin allocation. I love that. I might actually fly Air Canada the next time because of that. I've been a big WestJet guy for the last 10 years. But I don't know. I might give Air Canada a go. I like that. Ian says everyone's itching for a node or wanting to buy a BitAxe. Just buy Satoshis while they're so cheap. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And again, I'm not downplaying this, and I think that everybody listening to the show today can kind of understand where I'm coming from with this, and hopefully understand my angle on this. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying it's been way overblown, and that there are many important things to focus on outside of Nostr versus core. Jay says, I don't want to confuse anybody, but buying on spot, you pay a premium to have that Bitcoin right now rather than mining. Mining, many factors considered, can be a lot cheaper than buying sats and non-KYC. True. Crow says, do you think VPN plus Tor can help prevent being discovered and attacked? Yeah, I think so. But I mean, Tor was invented, I'm pretty sure, by the NSA. So it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not like nothing's bulletproof now. Nothing's bulletproof. You really need to have your guard up in the world right now. You really, if there's one takeaway from today, besides the whole Nostr versus core, Bitcoin being easy and hard, the one takeaway is right now is you should put a lot of attention into protecting your digital assets. Protecting your digital assets. That should be everyone's number one priority right now. Unless it's something huge, you know, like BlackRock trying to fork Bitcoin, which I think would still be a non-starter. But unless it's something huge, 100% of your focus should be on accumulating sats, adding value, and also protecting your digital assets. Not just your Bitcoin keys, but your digital assets. Whatever you consider to be a digital asset, you should be protecting that as best you can. And you should be using something like encryption to do that. You guys and girls, I don't think, and I might not even understand this myself, but you don't understand how scary it's going to get and how capable some of this AI and the ability of these hackers have to completely destroy your life. If you're not careful, if you're not very diligent online right now, you're going to run into a lot of trouble. And it takes a lot of time to actually fix the mess that we made here. And I'm going through that myself right now. But that should be your priority. You shouldn't be spending I'm not going to tell you what to do, but watching 5 or 10 hours of Nostr versus core content is not your best investment of time right now. It's just not. Because either way, Bitcoin's going to keep going. Whether there's some spam on there or there's some not, whether you're running knots or core, Bitcoin's going to keep going. And if you're not careful, if you're not very diligent in your digital asset management, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. And so the step that you should be taking right now is finding a way to secure your digital assets and reduce your digital footprint, because it's going to get fucking scary out there. I'm telling you. And as the AI chops upwards and starts attacking McDonald's and the schools and the governments, at the top of that is Bitcoin. And that's why Bitcoin's so important. And when we talk about spam on the blockchain, Bitcoin's also going to be a very effective way to communicate in a way that cannot be stopped. And I just want you to think about that for a second. Again, we talked about the history aspect of this and my thesis on that. And somebody said that you can use ADA or HBAR for that. Maybe. But in a world where everything is hackable, Bitcoin is not. And so when you want to send a very secure private message, or not, maybe not private, but something that can't be stopped. Bitcoin's a pretty good answer to that. And so it's very subjective to say what's spam and what's not. I mean, I know what I'd consider spam, like a JPEG that somebody's claiming to be worth 10 Bitcoin or something like that. But who am I to say what's spam and what's not? Gray says Tor has a listening port. That's what makes your node listening. Set your router to no port forwarding is a great defense, but a VLAN router is the most reliable. Good info. Sats and Sunset said, I had to stop watching Crater because he was spamming his channel talking about spam. Agreed. Samantha says, Tor used to be incorrectly, but Tor being used incorrectly will have the user discovered fingerprinting and correlation attacks. Probably true. I'm not a Tor expert, but I believe that. Yusuf says, Jor, would you say 12-word seed phrase is as safe as a 24-word phrase? I feel like the AI, there's a higher probability that it can brute force 12-word seeds sometimes in the future. Nah. Nope. But maybe. Here's what I'd say that I wouldn't be too worried about 12 or 24 words if you're worried about this, Yusuf. Because I think that evidence shows that they're very similar. It's like the law of diminishing returns, which means that yes, 24 is probably a little bit more secure, but once you get to that point of security, it's just like very, very small increase in security. So whether you're using 12 or 24 words, I don't think that that's what you should be concerned with. I think that you should say, okay, well, if I think that AI is going to be able to brute force a 12-word seed, what's the best solution to that? Because if they can do a 12-word seed, they can probably do a 12-word seed some point after that. Technology moves exponentially, right? Their ability moves exponentially. And so what you should be saying there instead is like, okay, if my 12 or 24 word wallet is going to be compromised potentially by AI, that's your thesis here. What would be the best answer to that? Multisig. Because then even if one of your 3 wallets gets hacked or brute forced, if they are able to do that, they can't do anything because you need 2 signatures to move any Bitcoin out of there. So that's, I think, where people should be moving towards, both encryption and multisig. Don't move there too quickly, but that's kind of where you should be setting your sights on in the future, is multisig and encryption. Ian says hackers and scammers are going for the multi-coins right now, but in a few years, those scammers and hackers are going to be coming for all of us. We need to multi-sig or pay a price. What's all this Tor crap? Where is it used? So if you're running a Start 9, I think Start 9 pretty much uses Tor for all of its dealings on there. Yeah, I'm not a Tor expert, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Ian says 12 words would have a 12 factorial combination. It's like stuffing a deck of cards. You would have a 52 factorial combination, which would be larger than the universe. Um, 12 or 24 word, not important. Use a passphrase when concerned. Yeah, or a passphrase. Good point. Yeah, that's a great point. So you kind of move from like holding Bitcoin on an exchange, holding it in a hot wallet, putting it into cold storage using one of these, like a signing device, like a cold card. Then you add a passphrase to that. And then you get 2 more devices and you set up a multi-sig. And then you encrypt all of your recovery phrases within that. That's kind of your progression. So yeah. Was there anything else I want to share today? CrossFit dude. Oh yeah, let's end with this. Let's end with this today. So I've been pretty horny for Nostr lately. Horny in the sense of I've been trying to tell as many people on this show to join Nostr as possible. And it's been working. I think there's quite a few people who have joined in the last year based on my advice. And I think that they're having a pretty good experience over there. Tell me otherwise if I'm incorrect. But one of the latest trends here on Nostr has been vlogs or vlogs, whatever you want to call them. As Odell said, vlogs. But it's a trend, but it's also pretty cool. And the first thing that I said when these vlogs started coming out on Nostr is it's refreshing. And that's kind of how I think about it. It's refreshing because when I logged onto Nostr for the first time, it was just a bunch of like weird AI generated profile pics and weird NIMs and people talking. And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool. But like, are any humans even here? Are there any real humans behind these profiles? And I said, it's refreshing because you finally get to see people's faces. And I think that there's something powerful about being able to see somebody's face versus just reading their words. Because all these people would be posting notes, sharing pictures, blah, blah, blah. But until you actually put a face on the message, it's different. And I mean, I've been doing vlogs for 370 episodes now, hour-long, 2-hour-long vlogs every day. But there's something special happening over on Nostr right now. And I want to share this video of this fella. What's his name? David. And the post here, it says, what does the TV show Seinfeld have in common with Nostr, Jeff Booth, American HODL, and Isabella? So let's watch this because there's a lot of takeaways from this that I want to share, but I want to watch the video first. And yeah, enjoy this. It's good.
Seinfeld. What does the TV show Seinfeld have in common with Nostr? So I'm scrolling as we do on YouTube, and the algorithm recommends a blooper reel from the TV show Seinfeld. And Elaine is talking to George Costanza's father, and he goes, "What the hell does that mean?" And Julia Louis-Dreyfus keeps cracking up over and over again. "What the hell does that mean?" So I have my shot of dopamine. I laugh. The next video on my recommended watch list is Jeff Booth with American HODL. Can you believe it? Thanks, by the way, American HODL. He retweeted my vlog yesterday. I got 30 new followers. Welcome, everybody. I'm Dave. Hola from Mexico. And Jeff and American HODL are talking outside at a patio, and Jeff Booth goes, "Bitcoin is a protocol, and a protocol is winner take all." And my brain goes, "What the hell does that mean?" There is no second best. The internet is the internet. If you want to register a domain name, you don't go to, Itchy Larry's House of Cool Domain Names. You get a DNS. DNS is a protocol. Nostr is a protocol. And Jeff Booth says protocols are winner take all. Here we have a community of 1 million people with about 250,000 engaged users. Who else is doing this? Protocol is winner take all. And so I asked Grok, what do you think will happen to Blue Sky and Threads and Nostr? And he says Nostr will grow to 20 million users over the next 3 years. So we're in the right place at the right time. And the next video after that was Isabella Santos down in Mexico in Isla Mujeres creating value. She's working for 21 days at odd jobs to make sats. And I said, look at this young lady. And she does CrossFit, so she's even cooler. What can I do to add value to the community? So in my previous life, I was a CrossFit coach in Canada for almost a decade, helping people lose weight, get stronger, get resilient on their path to health and fitness. And before that, I used to help mixed martial artists make weight for fights. So I have a skill set. And we created this document, which would, the main thing when people came to us, just tell me what to eat. And I had a lady named Heather. Of her 21 meals, she would eat 15 a week at either takeout or delivery. She was 70 pounds overweight. And so we would create these eating plans. And that's what I'm offering my Nostr friends. If you zap this vlog, doesn't matter. I will DM you and I will ask you questions like, do you like broccoli? Tell me what you hate. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you weigh. Tell me what your goals are. And we send you this document that gives you a 7-day menu plan, what to buy at the grocery store, if you eat out, what restaurants and what items off the menu to eat, and it'll kind of point you in the direction of the goal. So if that sounds cool to you, we're going to run this as an experiment. If Isabella can, clean toilets in a gown, if she can deliver around town in a tuk-tuk, I can use my skill set and expertise to help the Nostr community. So zap it, I'll DM you, and we'll have a quick conversation of what you like and don't like, and then I'll send you that menu plan, and it should help you with your goals. Man, protocol is winner take all. That's the big aha today. It's 5:50 in the a.m. I'm off to CrossFit. Gonna go get my fitness on. You working out today? Are you eating protein today? I appreciate you, Nostr. See you soon.
You just can't beat that. You can't beat that. And I've been listening to all these different vlogs of people on Nostr sharing, what they're doing. There's some of their thoughts, their perspective, and it's awesome. It's so, I don't know what the word is, genuine, wholesome. It's so much different scrolling through Nostr and listening to people's thoughts and things like that and what they want to talk about. It's so different than the culture that that we're leaving behind here. The Instagram, the TikToks, the fishing. It's two totally different things. That is so wholesome to me. I would love to drink a beer. He said he's from Canada, so maybe one day, Dave, if you're ever seeing this, and we're ever in the same location around Mexico, I would love to have a beer with you and chat about life. But it just shows you, there's people behind this, right? And that was the one thing for me that I understood is like, there's so much more happening than just the number going up. And the number going up right now has all been artificial. And I'm going to keep saying that because it's true. We're not at an all-time high right now. The all-time high in real terms was actually 2021 in gold. So we're not at an all-time high right now. Everything that's happening in Bitcoin is artificially boosted from money printing. But there's something much more happening here than just the number going up and our net worth going up and things getting cheaper for Bitcoiners. There's something much bigger happening, and that is a revolution of people, real people, genuine people that don't want to be part of the matrix, the system anymore. People are escaping that. And it's happening in droves. I mean, even the post I said yesterday, it's frustrating, but we are moving forward. We are making progress here. And that is a perfect example of the direction that we're on right now. People like that, people like Dave, just some guy. And he realizes what his skills are. He's a CrossFit guy. He's a mixed martial arts trainer, I think he said. And that's what he said. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to set an hourly rate. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You don't have to go to my website. Just zap this note and I will send you information on the value that I have, the skills that I have. And that's the future. That's the future that I see anyways. And that's the future that I want to help build. And I mean, I'm not just talking about it, I'm living that. I have a value for value option on my website, on my Calendly, where you don't have to pay for 10 hours with me. You don't have to pay a couple $1,000s just to speak with me. You can set up a phone call. You can ask any questions you have, and then you get to decide what that was worth to you. Some people send $20. Some people send $500. So every conversation is different. Everything is whatever it's based off of. That's why pricing, I think, is so difficult, because how do you price something? Everything's worth something different to each different person. And so I love that. He said, doesn't matter how much you zap. If you send me anything, I will send you a DM and we can chat. This is my skill set. This is what I want to provide to the community. And he made a video about it. How easy is that? Do you know how much it would have taken 20 years ago to produce a video and get it in front of that many people? How many dollars and how many people and how much time that would have taken? We now have this thing that we carry around in our pockets that allow you to take pictures and videos of things throughout the day. And you can share that and you can add value. And if people get value back, they can send you value. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And we're just kind of like at the Plymouth Rock on Nostr right now. And so it's been a grind for me, just like YouTube and just like Rumble is right now. It's a grind. I don't have anybody backing me. I don't take money from anybody. And so it's hard. It's a harder route, but You know, it's been slow and steady growth, which I think is the best form of growth. It's the hard path, the proof of work, the low time preference. That's what I'm focused on here. And it is it's legends and angels like you guys and girls who allow me to do that every day through the support. And I know that not everybody has the ability to support the channel financially. So in that case, I know that you're sharing and liking and commenting, and I appreciate it. Oh, I saw something came in here. Where was that? 20 sats. Somebody just sent 20 sats. And it looks like also we got a DCA. I don't know who it's from though. 2634 sats, another DCA. From who? I don't know. Would like to know. Brand 5-star says, I'm so close to exiting my PLTR position and buying a full coin. What the hell is PLTR? PLTR. I don't know. PLTR. Oh, Palantir. Ugh. Yuck. Palantir. I mean, if you're close, I would say do it this second. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Crow says, what's his name? We should give a shout out to Dave here. And maybe go. Hold on. Where was Dave? Maybe if you don't mind, leave a nice little comment on there saying, hey, George showed me this video on his channel today. Great work. Let's check out David here. Let's get his thing up here. Everybody can go follow David, who's on Nostr here. We want more of that. We want and we need more of that. So there you go. I'm pretty simple. I'm 57. I live in Mexico. I'm all in on Nostr. I train 5 days a week CrossFit, and I used to train jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. So there you go. There's David right there. Go follow our guy David and say, how do I scan this though? How do I scan a QR code? I should know this. QR, there we go. Scan QR. What? Android encountered a problem. Okay. Let's try this again here. QR, scan. No, it's not working. What the hell? I don't know. Not working for me. But yeah, it's David. David, I don't know how else I would share that with you. But hopefully it worked for you. It did not work for me. Am I connected to mine here? No. I thought I was following him. Anyways. That's what we got. Oh, it's Todd sent the DCA. Thank you, Todd. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. I think. Go find David. Go tell him Jor featured you on his stream today, on his 2-hour vlog. And yeah, that's a good point there, Todd. Actually, yours was lower than Duncan's, which means the price went up between zaps there. All right. Where are we here? Metrics, Duncan and Todd. We got to put Todd's in here though, because it's the lower one. So 2639 gets bumped to be 2634. Someone's just, look at this. Oh, you guys can't see. Somebody's literally driving a golf cart and just stopped in front of the house to stare. You know, you move out to the country, you move into the woods, and you still got weirdos driving by in golf carts, checking out your house. Maybe that's a fan. Maybe somebody's watching the Daily Bitcoin Journey right now and wanted to come say hi. Okay. Well, let's wrap her up here. We're at 2 hours. I think that's good enough for today. We had another good fiery show. And I hope you guys can appreciate my perspective there. I don't ask you to be in agreement with me all the time, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it. And you can kind of take what you want from that. So very much appreciate all the zaps today. Currently, the Zap King is Josh at 8,888 sats. So if you're watching this later and you want to become the Zap King, that's your bar. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for being part of this amazing community and movement and revolution that we're living through. And it is happening. It's happening very slowly, but I think it's happening at the perfect pace. Satoshi didn't mess around. He knew exactly the path forward. He knew what had to be implemented, what had to be put into place. And it's playing out right in front of our eyes here. So don't ever get too concerned one way or the other. Focus yourself on adding value, accumulating sats, and protecting those sats. That's what you need to do. So if you need help, once again, you can go to bitcoincitadel.net, and somebody from there, one of our amazing educators, can help you with whatever you need. And you can set up a call for half an hour, 15 minutes, and you can send me whatever it was worth to you. So have a great day. I actually got a phone call coming in now, so we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.